So the draw for the Davis Cup for 2025 has just been announced, and they've got a little bit of a different format going into next season. It's actually kind of back to what it used to be a little bit. So let's talk about the format, but also look at what matches we have potentially coming up in the first and second rounds. So the way that the Davis Cup is going to be done in 2024, in February, that's when we're going to get the first round matches, which is what we've been doing over the last couple of seasons. But instead of having group stages across 4 different countries in a second round after the US Open in September, we're going to have a second round, which is going to be very similar to the first round. So that means the second round matchups are going to be 2 countries, and one of those countries will host. So it's going to feel a lot more traditional Davis Cup style. And once those ties have been complete, then we get the final 8 playing all in Italy this year or next year. And speaking of Italy, they're already qualified for the Davis Cup final, so they don't even have to play any qualifying matches. Let's start with the first tie, and that is the Netherlands. They are the number 1 seeds, being the finalists of this year. They get a bye in the first round, so they don't even have to play in February. They're straight into the September second round qualies. Then you got Norway taking on Argentina. Winner of that tie will take on the Netherlands in the second round in September. So February, that's going to be interesting. Players like Ruud, Cerundolo potentially in that matchup. Then you got the number 2 seeds Australia taking on Sweden in the first round. If they win that first round, in the second round they'll take on either Chile or Belgium, who are going at it in that first tie in February. Then you got Canada, the 3rd seed, taking on Hungary. Winner of that will take on either Austria or Finland in that second round. Then you got Germany versus Israel, and the winner of that will take on either Japan or Great Britain in that second round. So potentially, we could be getting a second round matchup between Germany, Great Britain, and only one team qualifying for the finals at the end of the season. So that's going to be really interesting to see. Then you got the USA taking on Chinese Taipei. Winner of that will take on either Korea Republic or Czechia in the second round. So potentially in September, USA, Czechia. Very, very interesting tie. But this is where it gets real crazy. Serbia, the number 6 seeds, will take on Denmark in the first round. Now, Djokovic said that Davis Cup is his priority, and Holger Rune plays for Denmark, so we could be getting a Rune versus Djokovic matchup there. Now, outside of those guys, I'm not sure who plays for Denmark and also Serbia. They do have players, but they're all pretty low in the rankings, so it's going to be Djokovic versus Rune, the blockbuster, and then whatever happens after that. But the winner of that matchup in their second round in September will take on either Switzerland or Spain. Now, of course, Switzerland are not the same team as they were when they had Roger, and Spain don't have Rafa anymore, so Switzerland, Spain 10 years ago would have been insane, but you still got to watch out for Wawrinka potentially playing that tournament, and of course Alcaraz will definitely playing Davis Cup if he is available. So very interesting, and of course potentially after the US Open we could be getting Serbia versus Spain, Djokovic versus Alcaraz. Only one team can get to the finals. So that is the craziest part of the draw. Then you've got Croatia taking on Slovakia. Winner of that will take on either Brazil or France in the second rounds in September. So some really crazy matchups. And we are assuming that, the teams that are on this board have their best players. So we're assuming that, that Djokovic is going to play, that Alcaraz is going to play, that Rune is going to play. We've got Ruud, possibly Zverev. I don't know if he's going to show up, but maybe he does. Demonor for Australia. Obviously Fritz and the Americans playing for the USA. So very interesting to see how this format goes, and of course it's going to feel so much better having that traditional Davis Cup home and away team. You don't want to play in Spain, you don't want to play in France, you don't want to play in Argentina. Being the away team can be real hard, so it's going to be really fun to see the Davis Cup back to what it was in some way. So there it is, that is the Davis Cup, and of course the teams that win in September will join Italy into the final. So Italy don't have to play any Davis Cup until November. So that means Jannik Sinner, Matteo Berrettini, Lorenzo Musetti don't have to play any team events, or at least any Davis Cup team events, until the end of the year, which might be good because, it limits those guys, schedule. Netherlands, they don't have to play Davis Cup matches until September, so that gives them gets them a break as well. But what do you think about the new Davis Cup format? I like it. I like that they're kind of going back to what it used to be. I don't think we'll ever go fully back to what it used to be. I don't mind the finals situation, especially now that we're going to a different country, Italy. We all know that Italy's going to be pretty crazy for the Italian team. But there it is, Davis Cup. I'm excited to see how this plays out next year. A couple of really crazy first match ties or first round ties, and also second round ties potentially.